Hi everyone, it's Mary Bush with Stampin' in the Sand. Thank you for joining me today for our Live at 5 class presentation. I hope that you have had a chance to pop on and download and print out your card tutorial for today's class so that we can do some stamping together. I'm just popping on to my page here to make sure that everything's coming up okay in my feed before I get too far ahead. And let's see. Yep, okay, so let's just mute that. Okay, so it looks like I am all set. Hi, Kathy. How are you today? How's the weather in Wisconsin? My husband's up in a blizzard in New England. It's got to be better than that, right? So today's card features our absolutely gorgeous celebration paper, the springtime foils. And if you have been following along, you know that the celebration items are free with purchases in my online store. So for purchases of $50 or more, combined purchases of $50 or more, you get to choose from the $50 tier of celebration product. And then there's also a $100 tier of celebration product where the packages are a little bit larger and have some larger stamp sets. There's also a current bundle that's a stamp set and an embossing folder. So those are some great ways to pick up some free product just for shopping for things that you would be purchasing anyway. So this is the Springtime Foils paper, and I think you can see it here. It's really gorgeous, heavy cardstock. It's great for cards. It's also great for 3D projects, and it holds color amazingly. So we're going to be doing that today. We're going to be doing some coloring. So this is a fun polka dot pattern. It's there's 4 different patterns in this pack of paper. This one is just a lovely vine motif. It's got silver and gold combined on this one. The next one is the floral pattern that we're going to be using today. And this one is just gorgeous, and it's equally gorgeous when you color it as when you just use it by yourself. I think this one's my favorite. And then we have a really pretty stripe. And this is all silver embossed stripe. But you can brayer any color over the white or use a sponge, spritz it. There's just so many things you can do with this paper. And this paper is free with a $50 order. In my online store, you can select the Springtime Foils as your free gift. And if you shop my online store and you use this hostess code right here, you can grab a screenshot of it, or it's also available in the links in the description at the for the card that I posted earlier, and I'll also be reposting it at the end of class above this video where you're watching the video. So anyways, if you use this hostess code and you place an order of $50 or more in my online store, you will get a free card and your choice from me, your choice of celebration items from Stampin' Up, and a free gift in the mail that will accompany your card from me. Just my way of saying thank you so much for watching and stamping with me during my card classes. I really appreciate the love, and I really appreciate having you all here with me today. This is a new venture I took on a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really enjoying stamping with everybody. So further on, that's your free gifts with the hostess code, and covers a little bit about celebration. But also, I don't know how many of you have been watching or have been tuning in or have been customers for a long time, but currently Stampin' Up! Is offering a bonus for joining my team. If you join my Stampin' Up! Team as a demonstrator, you will receive $125 worth of product of your choice for only $99, and all of that product will ship for free. You'll just be taxed on the $99 for whatever your local tax rate is, but the whole order will ship for free. And during celebration, as a bonus from Stampin' Up, you can choose 2 additional free stamp sets for free, up to $101 value. So you can pick the 2 most expensive stamp sets in any of our catalogs and get those for free when you join my team. But that offer expires at the end of March. So if you're at all considering that, now is the time to do it. And in addition to that, there's no obligation to sell. There's no obligations to hold classes. There's no obligations to do anything. So you can order your starter kit, get your $125 worth of free product, pay only $99 for it, get your 2 free stamp sets, and then never do another thing. So it doesn't get much better than that. And during this promotion, you can also select Paper Pumpkin prepaids and earn celebration items for your paper pumpkins. If you're not familiar with Paper Pumpkin, then I can tell you all about it. So Paper Pumpkin is a monthly subscription kit from Stampin' Up. The projects and products are different every month. Each month contains a free, not free because you're paying for Paper Pumpkin, but includes a exclusive stamp set that you cannot buy. It's manufactured specifically for that month's kit. So for example, last month we had the Wildflower Wishes, and it made all of these cards that you see here. And every month you also get a full sheet of instructions with pictures, a pictorial, I should say, of how to put your projects together. And this one, for example, contained 9 cards and 9 envelopes and all of the materials to create the projects, which doesn't mean that you can't go out of the Paper Pumpkin box and create all of your own projects, but they do give you the suggested intended projects in case you want to just go completely by their directions. So when we met, I think a couple of weeks ago, I had my February kit, and this is the card that we put together in class. And it's not exactly what they intended for it to be, but we were very happy with how it came out. And this was is just a sampling of what the Paper Pumpkin kits contain, I should say. And also for March and April, there's a special offer. If you're new to Paper Pumpkin, you can get 50% off your first 2 months of the kits. And the kits are $20 a month, so you'd be paying $10 a month for your first 2 months. There's no obligation to continue after your 2 months. You can just try it for the 2 months at 50% off, and if it's not something you're interested in, you can just stop getting them. You can just ask to be unsubscribed, and there's no obligation further than your 2-month try it. There is a code, a saving code, a coupon code that you have to enter at checkout. So what I'm going to do is when this class is over, I will post a direct link to the Paper Pumpkin, and you can sign up there if you're interested. And I will also include the coupon code so that you don't miss out on getting your 2 50% off months. Or it's a BOGO, however you want to look at it. So that's a little bit about Paper Pumpkin. So I think we're done with the news of the day, and let's start with our card. So if you were able to pop on here to my Facebook page, or if you're coming here from my blog, earlier today, I had posted our card tutorial for the day. So this is the tutorial that you would be printing off. It has all of your supplies listed. It has all of the cutting instructions, and it also has the step-by-step instructions for assembling the card. And then further on in, if you need to order the supplies to create the card, There's direct links to my online store where you'll find each of these items that are available to purchase for making the card. And this shows you the specialty designer series paper we're using today, the springtime foils, and that would be could be your free with $50 purchase should you not have that paper to create our card. Okay, so we are going to make a variation of this card today. What I had done, and if you've been tuning in to my channel for a while, I had a sheet of this paper and I had pre-colored it with my Stampin' blends. And that I found was kind of the easiest thing to do, was just pull out a whole sheet of it and do all of my coloring at one time and then cut it up into smaller pieces. So I had that big sheet and I ended up cutting it into 3-inch by 4-inch pieces because I found that gave me the greatest exposure for the greatest amount of cards. So I can make it the focal point of a card and get more, I guess, more bang for my buck is what I should be saying. So I thought it was just a great way to make the designer series paper really speak and pop off the page and have it be your focal point. So this is what we're going to create today, but I'm just going to change my background layers just a little bit. I'm going to stick with the old olive layer, but we're going to color in our flowers, and then our little mat behind it will be a slightly different color. So while I was playing this afternoon, getting ready for class, this is couple more cards that I did. Here's one I did where I let Pink Pirouette be the background mat to try to get this little pink flower down in the corner to pop off a bit. I swapped out the old olive actually for Pear Pizzazz just to soften it. I wanted it a little bit more truly springy. So I had just softened it a little bit, and I kept the old olive for my sentiment, and then I just went into my older ribbon and pulled out a nice pink ribbon for my bow. And then this piece, I thought that the yellow was popping more for me than any of the other colors, the Daffodil Delight. So I matted the designer series paper on a thin mat of Daffodil Delight, and then I mounted that on top of the old olive. I stuck with the old olive for that card, and then I grabbed some of our new old olive ribbon from the annual catalog and just put a bow up here. But I ended up mounting the sentiment in the upper left-hand corner because all there was up here were some leaves. There were no flowers. And if I put it down here, I'd be hiding all these pretty flowers down in the bottom. So I just strategically placed my greeting depending on where I wanted your eye to be drawn in the card. So let's see what we come up with today. Oh, Caroline, thank you. I'm so glad that you think the card's beautiful. I appreciate that. Hi, Sandy. Okay, so what do we need to make our cards today? And I probably should leave one out for myself, right? And I'll remove this. I will bring it back in for you later to work off of. So I have my some Stampin' blends here. And actually, I need some other colors. I thought I pulled out what I wanted to use, but I didn't. So I have this neat kit. I found this case, just as a side, I get sidetracked so easily. I found this case in Home Goods, in the refrigerator. It was refrigerator storage, and it holds my blends absolutely perfectly for traveling to classes when I go to teach classes out of my home. And then I'm using these little drawers. You've probably seen them all over the place. Walmart has them, and Target, I think, has them. And I think they even may have them in Office Depot. But it's 3 drawers. And I usually keep my blends in the 3-drawer storage thing that I found, because it's only 1 or 2 layers, whereas this one holds all the pens, and then I have to go digging around. So, but it's still a really neat container. So I figured as long as I had it out here, I'd show it to you. Because now, as you can see, Tammy, hi Tammy. You finally made it to an online class. I'm so excited to see you on here. How are you? So there's my little case. Sorry, got sidetracked. I'm excited. Tammy's here. So these are, what colors do I have here? This is light, rich raspberry, dark raspberry. Then I have the dark pink pirouette and light pink pirouette. And I have dark calypso coral and light calypso coral. Then for our leaves, we have the light and dark of the old olive. And then for any oopsies, I have my color lifter. And actually, this is going to come in handy if I go out of the lines or if I get on some of this foil, it takes it right off. It's awesome. Okay, so next, I have a thick Whisper White card base. Then for our matting, we have the old olive layer. Then I'm bringing in some fresh fig. I'm gonna mount on my fresh fig today. I think that's gonna look really nice with that old olive and really pop. And then I have my 3" by 4" piece of the foils paper. And that's where we're gonna color on. To emboss our old olive piece right here, I have the Petal Pear Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. And this is in the Occasions catalog. It comes with 2 different embossing folders. And these are fabulous for accents for your cards or scrapbook pages. We're going to use the Vine embossing folder here. And then what you're going to find pretty creative, I think, I've got some Scrap Whisper White for our stamping, for our greeting. Our greeting comes from Label Me Pretty. We're using the You're the Best from Label Me Pretty. And that's actually already mounted on my block. So there's that. And to die cut it, when I was looking for a sentiment and a framelit that wouldn't take up too much of the card and distract too much from this pretty paper, I actually found this really pretty scalloped shape here in the Bottles and Bubbles Framelits dies. So this would be a label for a beer or soda bottle, and we're going to use it on a floral card. So I thought that was pretty genius of me. I was pretty impressed with myself. And then we have the Old Olive Classic ink pad. That's going to be for stamping our greeting. And I'm not sure which direction we're going to go, but I also have the Old Olive ribbon. And then I also have the Fresh Fig ribbon. So depending on how our coloring goes, we'll choose one of these ribbons to make our bow. Okay, so we need to color. So I'm going to start with my old olive, and I'm going to see if I can do this without all of you just looking at the back of my head, because that ain't going to be as pretty of a picture as watching me color this. So I've got my light old olive. Now, one thing I noticed about playing with the blends on this paper versus playing with the blends on, say, Whisper White, is that it takes the color far different than the Whisper White. And I'm trying to color this from afar with a glare. And I'm probably going to miss some spots, but you'll get the idea. But it takes the ink much different. I think it lays on top more than it does get absorbed, because it's a very heavy, shiny white. And I don't think you get quite the absorption and maybe you can see this. I don't think you get quite the absorption that you get when you use the plain Whisper White and you stamp. So I find it actually gives it almost like a watercolorish, is that even a word? A watercoloring effect. So you see some of the brush marks clearer. But I actually like it. I think it gives a lot of dimension and texture to my coloring. And I'm actually lifting this so that you can see a little bit more what I'm doing. But it's also helping me to see what I'm doing. So it's twofold. And I think this is the first time I've done this much coloring on live camera. And I hope you don't get bored and leave. I will try to color as fast as I can without making a giant mess. Because I admit that a lot of times when I watch videos and there's a lot of coloring, I fast forward. So I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can because I don't want to lose you. Okay, so I think those are the leaves. So there's my light Old Olive, and I always start with the light and then go in with my dark. But I actually think I want to keep this a little bit on the lighter side. So I think instead of going in with some dark, I'm going to just add more layers of light. And that's the other thing about these blends that I noticed more when I was using this paper, this foil paper, how easily you could continue to build your color just by using, say, your light shade and just continuing to color over and over and over. You can really, really build this color deeper just by going over it repeatedly. So can you see how much darker this is getting, but without being disgustingly dark? So isn't that cool? I mean, that's just one layer and two layers, but yet look at how amazing that looks, the differences. Not so much amazing my coloring, but amazing the differences. All right, so I hope I don't push this overboard because I really loved how this flower came out here. So let's see how we can do here. So I'm just gonna, this is my light razzleberry. And you have no idea how stressful this is, trying to color a pretty flower with an audience. Because as much as I love to color, I am not necessarily the best at shading or finding and creating the direction of light that a lot of artists can do. And I'm also struggling with the glare and trying to keep my head out of your field of vision. So this is interesting. But we'll just keep on keeping on. But can you hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear the squeaking as the marker goes over the paper, as opposed to with the Whisper White, you don't hear that squeak. So this is now dark, and I'm going to hope that I don't ruin this. can you hear that squeak? But see how different the two shades are? They're just so different from each other. And I'm just coloring. I'm not using any kind of method. I'm trying not to overthink my blends. Let's see. And this is when it's tricky. I have to get into the fine detail. All right, I've got way too much white. So much easier to do when you can bend over your project. All right, so that's some dark. Then I'm just gonna come in and I think I want to darken this up just a bit. So I'm just gonna put one more layer of color on some of these other petals. And maybe over here. All right, maybe here. Well, I started on this one, so I guess I have to finish. All right. Okay, so here's that one. And then I'll come down here. And the good thing about using these markers and then this foil paper is even if by the time I'm done coloring it for you, if I'm not 100% happy with it, you can go back and just add some more layers. Even after the card's assembled, I can just go back and make some changes because I feel like I should speed it up a little bit. But when you're live, there's no fast forward button. All right. So I'm almost doing this one entirely with the razzleberry. Poor Calypso Coral, I kind of forgot about him. So this is light pink pirouette. And it's very, very soft. Or is this dark? No, this is dark. Wait a minute. Nope, this is the dark one. Here, I'll show you the soft one. This is the light. You almost can't see it. So, see, it's there, but it's really hard to see. That one, I find that I have to add a lot of different layers to it to make it visible. So I'm just gonna stick with the dark one. And then you can even come in with your light one. Watch this. You can come in with your light one, lighter color, and pick up some of the darker color, and then look at how that just changed that flower. It just took some of that color right off this flower and moved it. So you almost get a whole new color when you do that. I thought that was really, really cool. And I found that out as an oops. I didn't mean to do it. I just ended up accidentally picking up the wrong marker. All right. So that's a little bit there. And then if you think you've got too much, you can just kind of swipe it off a little bit on your scrap paper. All right, we gotta use our Calypso coral. I brought it in here, so we can't forget about him. We'll just put a little bit in the corner. Show him some love. Okay. This is the dark one. Dark Calypso coral. I'm not going to go overboard. Maybe I'll pick up, lighten some of this up a little bit and bring it over here and darken this up just a little. And I am pushing off the edge just a little bit because then you don't get the white showing along the edge as much. You can actually drag the color over. So hopefully that wasn't too boring for you. Now, I don't know if you can see, but on some of these areas I went over the embossing. Like here on this flower, I went way over the embossing quite a bit. And actually in what I'm seeing reflected back to me is not showing how much I actually went off the lines. So if you take the color lifter here, you can actually follow along on these gold and silver embossed layers where I went off, and look at the color that I'm actually picking up off of that embossing. And because these are alcohol-based markers, if I didn't come back and lift this off the metal, it would just stay there and have colored the metal. But because I want all of this really pretty foil to show, I can actually come back with with the color lifter marker, and I can take it off of there. Isn't that cool? So it's just picking it right off. All right. I don't think I did so bad. Oh, this one's really bad. That one was really bad. But I knew I could do this, so I let myself get rushed a little bit with my coloring because I knew I could fix it. So all I have to do is just drag it along those embossed pieces. All right, so I think that's good. If I do any more, I'll probably go too far and I won't be able to back myself out of it. So hopefully you didn't see a lot of my head. So let's get putting our card together. So I'm gonna take all of my markers and I'm gonna put them away in their little container. And let's do some more of our assembly. So we have our, oh, I missed a spot. I missed one. Did anyone else see that little piece over there? I missed a piece of flower. All right, that's better. Can't leave that all unattended over there. All right, so now we have our stamp, And we have our old olive. And I'm just going to ink it up and stamp it on my scrap. I'm gonna get rid of that before I cause a crisis. I put a lot of effort into coloring this. I don't want to ruin it. All right, so we're gonna clean my area here, and I need to bring in my Big Shot. And hope you're in there. Hope you're in the window. I have too much stuff here. Okay, so I have my Big Shot and my plates. So we're gonna take our old olive background piece and I'm gonna line this up in the embossing folder so that it's centered. And then I can feed it through. Excuse my reach. There's not enough room here. I don't have enough room. Let's just pass this back through this way, because I am in a tight space here. All right, so that's that. So now we have our nice vine going up and down the center of the card. And then we need to cut our sentiment. So I have my magnetic platform. And I need my die. And we're just going to center that right over the top. Okay. I'm going to feed that through. And then I'm just going to come back through. Oops, more because of the space I'm in than because it needed to be cut twice. Because it didn't. I'm just squished. Okay. So that is all of our Big Shot work. And now we're just going to put the card together. So I want the deboss side to be face up. I think, let's see, this one I did it embossing side down. This is side down, and then this is with it raised up. I don't know, what do you think? Down, up. I guess it really doesn't matter, right? Let's do up. We'll do embossed up. If you print off the tutorial, it has you doing it deboss side up, but let's do the emboss side up. Then I'll have one of each, or two of each. Then I'll have two of each. Okay, so I'm just going to use my liquid glue. I like my liquid glue. I especially like my liquid glue for where I have embossing, because it gets into the nooks and crannies, and I like that. And I'm going to put that on the center, on the front of the card. And I also like that my liquid glue gives me room to move it around and adjust it, because as you know, I am picky and I don't like it when the edges are uneven. Drives me nuts. Okay, so now we can take our colored piece, and I'm going to put my die aside before I lose it. And then I'm going to, oh, everyone's saying up, embossing up. Well, that's how we did it. I didn't even see your comments scrolling up. Okay, so there's some glue. Put that aside before I make a mess. And look at how well the fresh fig is playing with the coloring. It's really drawing some of that purple out. What do you think? I think that looks pretty nice. Okay. A few dimensionals on the back of this. And get rid of our paper bits. And just throwing them on the floor. Okay. And we will have that. I don't know. Which way? Oh, let's do it this way. Spend all day sitting here spinning it around. All right. So that looks centered. And then we have our sentiment. And I forgot in the introduction to the video, we are using our gold thread for putting behind the sentiment. I think you can see it in the card. You can see it right there. And that's just playing with the gold embossing and picking that up really nicely, I think. So I'm just going to take some of this thread and where are my scissors? Okay, get some scissors. All right. And then all I'm going to do is twist it, put a Stampin' dimensional over the center, pick off the backing, and then this is going to go corner to corner. I have to do it this way, so it's on the center of the back. So it's being held on actually by the dimensional that's going to hold this whole thing on the card. And I think I'm going to put it right there because I don't want to cover up my little Calypso coral bit down there. Okay, so it's decision time, folks. Which ribbon do we like? Here's the fig. So that just draws more of the purple. And this is the old olive. What do you think? Old olive, fig, old olive. Let's see, tie one of each. Anybody? Okay, Linda says fig. Oh, everybody's saying fig. I don't think I have a single vote for old olive. Everybody wants fig. Okay, fig it is. Fig it is. I haven't done one with fig yet, so here we go. That could have gone either way. All right. And then try tying a nice little bow in front of everybody. Okay, so there's my little bow. And hold that thought. Oh, right in front of me. I couldn't find my glue dots and they were right under my nose. But by now my desk looks pretty bad, so it's a wonder I can find anything by this point. Okay, so here's our fresh fig bow by popular demand. And that's just going to go up here in the corner. And there it is. There's our card. It's all done. So again, you can get a very pretty and elegant card by just letting your designer series paper and your coloring be the star of the show, so to speak. So here's our fresh fig and old olive combo. This one is Calypso Coral, And this is just some really old ribbon I had left over, I think from an old celebration, as a matter of fact. This is Daffodil Delight with the old olive ribbon. And then this one is Pink Pirouette with just some old retired pink ribbon that I had in my stash. And they all have the gold thread. So here are 4 completely different cards. And if you're just tuning in, also the pink one, we swapped out the Pear Pizzazz for Old Olive just to soften it a bit. So here are 4 totally and completely different looking cards, but all using the exact same products, the exact same design layout, the exact same collection of markers, and yet they are all uniquely different. Well, Dana, if you love it and you want it, seriously, you can get it, because all of the materials that we have used in today's class are available in my online store. One of these cards can make its way to you if you place an order in my online store and use the hostess code that's exclusive to my Live at 5 classes this week. And I think that concludes the class, but let's see here if I can get on to do a drawing. So let me just log back in because I got kicked out. And bear with me for a second, because I have to get reconnected. I love when things time out and kick you out. Okay. And of course, my internet connection here is so slow. I can't stand it. It's so slow. All right. So, if this wants to cooperate with me, today we have 123 comments, people. That's awesome. Thank you so much for all of your comments. I can't wait to go back and read them, because it's really hard for me to keep up with reading and keep up with stamping at the same time. So, what are you going to win? Okay, well, today's prize, not only will you receive a free card from me if you place an order in my online store along with your free gift, but for commenting on today's Live at 5 class, you will receive an additional one of my cards. That's if you've placed an order and have been a winner. One of my card samples, as well as a 3x4 piece of each of the foil papers that are included in this package. So if you were tuning in at the beginning, you know what the springtime foils consist of. But if you're joining us late, it consists of this random striped pattern in silver foil. Then there's this polka dot bubble pattern, and I'm not sure if that's copper. That's copper. That's in copper foil. And then we have this one, which I believe, and I'm sorry, I have to pull it out to look at it. Is that copper and gold? That's copper and gold foil. And this is the one that we use today. And then this one is silver and gold foil. So the winner of today's drawing will receive a 3x4 piece of each one of these for using in a card project, and 4 card kits that are pre-cut to design 4 of these cards using your pieces of the foil paper. So, good luck. Let's see what we have here. So we had 123 comments, and I'm doing a random draw over on my laptop. You can't see it, but trust me, I'm doing it. And our winner is Paula Robinson. So Paula Robinson, if you are still watching, if you could send me a private message with your mailing address, I would appreciate it. And if you have left by now, I will tag you in the post congratulating you and asking you for that address. So congratulations. And everyone else, you can receive one of these card samples in the mail from me with your free gift if you just place an order in my online store of any size using this hostess code. And if your order reaches $50 or more, you can select the Springtime Foils paper for your free celebration item. So thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you liked the projects and will give them a try for yourself. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Give me a shout here on Facebook, or all of my personal contact information is on my blog. And I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Barbara, I'm in South Carolina too. I don't know if you knew that. I'm on the coast. So you'll have to let me know where you are here in South Carolina. So anyways, I will be back on Thursday with another card class, my next Live at 5. I will be here at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you are having a wonderful week. Any of you that are joining me from New England, I am from New England. I'm from Massachusetts, and they are getting hammered right now. They're getting their third major snowstorm in a week? I mean, the snow accumulations are disgusting, like 20 inches today from today's snow on top of what they already had. It's just really scary. So everyone, you stay safe. I hope you have a wonderful next couple of days, and I will see you on Thursday. Thanks for stamping with me. Bye.